What's going on, y'all? Wood Talk Sports back with our second draft profile of the 2025 NFL Draft, and this one's been a long time coming. It's been over a month probably, but we finally get it out. This is the Shedeur Sanders draft profile. This is a very highly anticipated one for me because this guy is a very interesting prospect. A lot of people underrate him, a lot of people overrate him. A lot of people say, he deserves to be where he is, and I think he is one of those guys that really does have a little bit of a question mark near him because of the weak quarterback class. However, I do think that he has a lot of great qualities as a quarterback. Now, before we start the video, I just want to mention a lot of y'all still aren't subscribed, 95%, but if you keep coming back to my content, maybe this is your first video, you enjoy it, hit the subscribe button. It helps me out a lot. Let's jump into this. Jumping into vitals and stats first, obviously, that is a pretty important thing for NFL quarterbacks. Teams don't like small quarterbacks very much. No hate to guys like Drew Brees. He's my favorite quarterback of all time. Bryce Young, they might be smaller, but a lot of NFL GMs do like guys of decent size. And Shedeur Sanders is 6'2", 215. He has 4 years of college under his belt as well. And all 4 seasons look pretty impressive. I mean, the least amount of touchdowns he had was in 2023 at Colorado with 27 through the air. He did have 4 on the ground that season as well, though. So the least amount of touchdowns he had in a season is 31, and a great turnover ratio as well, 27-3 that year. And in this recent season, 37 touchdowns to 10 interceptions. Had a pretty good year, 8th in the Heisman voting. And the big concern here, if you guys don't see it, is the sacks. This man was sacked so many times these 2 seasons at Colorado, 52 and 42. Actually, the 6th most sacked quarterback in college football this last season. Number 1, I believe, was Cal. So, that's a big concern. But that also moves into our positives, which we will get into after I talk about a little bit more on the stats. The big thing I want to talk about is the completion percentage. 74% completion percentage is very impressive. And that moves us perfectly into our positives, our strengths of Shedeur Sanders. Now, this first clip goes perfectly for 2 of these. The shown ability to succeed with that offensive line. He has to deal with a lot of pressure at times, and his ability to extend plays. His ability to extend plays in that first clip there is unbelievable, just being able to move around in the pocket. Now, that's my thing with Shedeur is he can extend plays with his legs. He doesn't use his legs too often. However, he can use his legs, and when he does, he is very good with it, and he uses them wisely, and that's the good thing I see from Shedeur's play. It's not too reckless when scrambling outside the pocket other than some of his passing abilities. I'm talking reckless when running. Some of the passing decisions he makes we'll get into later. But and then with the, 94 combined sacks in 2 seasons, and he's putting up stats that he is, I think it's very impressive. Another thing which you'll see numerously throughout this highlight reel is his ability to throw the long ball. And I think that's something that is one of the most impressive things out of most of the college prospects that I've been looking at recently. His long ball is probably the most beautiful looking long ball. I think another guy like maybe Jackson Dart, I think, has a very, very good long ball. But Shedeur's ability to find his athletes and get it to is just very impressive to me. And then, obviously, he has that great accuracy, a 74 completion percentage rate. 74%, that is very, very impressive, as I said earlier. Leading the nation with that as well. With a team like Colorado and all the circumstances you have, having a quarterback with 74% completion percentage is honestly one of the most impressive things that I've ever seen. And, you get sacked 42 times in a year, and you're still able to, with all this pressure that you deal with, able to find your receivers and put it in the spot where they can catch it and make the right reads to get completions just consistently. It was very impressive for Shedeur Sanders in the 2024 season. So those are my 4 strengths. We've got shown ability to succeed with a bad offensive line, a beautiful long ball. A beautiful long ball. He has great accuracy. 74%, and then can extend plays with his legs. Now, there's 3 things in his game that I would basically classify as weaknesses. I would say that he holds onto the ball too long at many times. He tries to keep extending plays, and then that just leads to either a sack, incompletion, bad throw. And then he also tends to throw risky throws. If he's got a little bit of pressure, he's going to throw the riskier throw instead of throwing it away or throwing the check down. That's a big problem as well. His pocket presence as well can improve. He drifts a lot in the pocket. I think that's something that you can't really do in the NFL. You can't just keep drifting around because you're going to run into an alignment if you keep drifting like that. But we'll dive deep into some of these plays to basically tell you why I think these. There's two things I want to point out on this play. At the beginning, he doesn't have a drop back really. He kind of just drifts around. Now, to be fair, he does get instant pressure pretty quickly. But then another thing I want to say is with that pressure, he throws it into a contested window instead of trying to get it somewhere else. Yes, you're contested. You're under a lot of pressure. You got to find a way to get the ball out of your hands. That's just not the ideal situation to get the ball out of your hands. And so those are two of the weaknesses I saw in that clip. Now for this clip, this is another example of how he really tends to make risky throws when he has pressure on him. He's able to back up, but then he just kind of throws it up for a guy. And that just makes it really easy for a BYU defender to come and pick that ball off. And that's what happens on the play. And that's a very, very risky thing that I, as an NFL GM, wouldn't want to see. Now, I know I just realized I called myself an NFL GM. I mean, like, hypothetically, but for this one's pretty self-explanatory. He gets a little bit backside pressure, but he just tries to force a pass across the field, and, that's an easy interception. That's a little bit of a, maybe find a different situation there. Obviously, you're under pressure, but that's kind of a forced throw, and that's the biggest concern I have for Shedeur Sanders is the forced throws. I think this one's another good example of him forcing throws, feels a little bit of pressure, feels like he has to get it out of his hands. Once again, throws a thing over the middle, contested, throws it a little too far because he's trying to get it out quick. A little too forceful on this one. I don't think that's the perfect read. Obviously, bad throw leads to an interception, and Kansas State capitalized on that one. Now, these final two clips are two clips about, kind of holding on to the ball too long. This one, evades a sack, rolls out. At that point, you just got to find a way to get the ball out of your hands. I know maybe you're trying to run it there, but that wasn't very effective. It leads to a sack on third down. So that play, not really my favorite. And then here's another one. Once again, a little bit of backside pressure, but you roll right into it. And instead of he still eventually gets rid of the ball, but you get rid of it a little late. I feel like in this situation, you could also roll to the right, not very much pressure from the right side, kind of rolls into the backside pressure, holds onto the ball for a little bit there. Now we've gone through what I think are his strengths, what I think are his weaknesses. Where does this fit Shedeur Sanders on my overall board? Now, I do think that he will probably be a top 10 pick. I think he's one of the most guaranteed top 10 picks with how many QB needing teams there are. However, do I think he's top 10 talent in this draft class? No. I have him graded as a late first round talent, but he will be a top 10 pick. And some of the team fits that I've got are the Giants, Raiders, Browns. Obviously, those three teams very quarterback needy. Also kind of fit in the Cam Ward category for team needs. I think those three teams specifically need a guy to come in now that need to be able to possibly start day one. And that's where I think those three teams come in. Maybe the Raiders are a little different because they could have Russell Wilson possibly joining them this offseason, which has been a rumor because of the, Pete Carroll signing. But yeah, those three teams I think could use a guy like Shedeur Sanders who has a higher floor but a lower ceiling than a guy like Cam Ward who I think has better upside. And who could possibly come in and be a day one starter more likely. So those are my three team fits. That's my final grade. And that's all for you. The strengths, weaknesses, the final grade, and the team fits. We've got shown ability to succeed with battle line, beautiful long ball, great accuracy, can extend plays with legs in situations for the strengths, can hold on to the ball for too long, tends to choose risky throws over throwing away or check downs, and his pocket presence can improve. He kind of drifts a little bit as the weaknesses. Top 10 pick, late first round talent, and then the team fits that we just mentioned. So that's going to be it for today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed. It was a little bit different than the Gray Zabel draft profile, giving you a little bit more examples. I'll be doing that as we go on. But If you enjoyed this one, leave a like, comment down below what you think about Shedeur Sanders. And I mean, we'll have some more coming your way. Xavier Watts from Notre Dame, the next draft profile. He is a safety. And then we will also be having a mock draft coming soon. Obviously, the season's over, so every single pick spot is solidified for now, unless there's going to be trades. But I hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you're all the way to the end of the video, I appreciate it. And I love it if you hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Check out some of my other content as well. And we'll see y'all in the next one. Peace out.